All right, welcome to a new episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. I'm your host, Norman Kinsey, in a brand new setup. So stay tuned for more to come why we're here in this setup, as we're going to be changing up and always changing and evolving our production here at Real Estate vs. Technology. We have our co-host, Mr. Dan Gandy. Welcome, Dan. How's your morning?
It's going good. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Likewise, man. Likewise. And today we actually have more of a, not only a technology provider, you can kind of say it's a wild card, but everyone right now is doing video production. So filming content, 9:16 ratio, you got Reels, you got TikTok, and then you also have Shorts for YouTube. And so I met an individual at an amazing event with Gary V. It was Think Grow. Was it Think Grow Video Live, something like that. I don't know if I got that right, but we'll ask him here in a second when we bring our guest on. And so I had this individual I met. I was like, gotta get you on the podcast. And we're talking back and forth because over at Liftoff that sponsors the show, we are always looking for video companies that we can partner with, because real estate professionals are out there always looking for new creative ways to get themselves out there and also their business. So today we have an owner of a video company in Las Vegas. They specialize in weddings, real estate, drone, corporate events. And we have Brandon on Real Estate vs. Technology today. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have, be on the show, be a special guest, and get into talking about what these agents, what video production brings, not only for your brand, but your industry going forward, because everything's changing right now.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to get into it.
True, too. Everything is changing so quickly. And if you're not evolving, you're really falling behind the times. And so I'm excited to talk about it. And today's episode's all about you and your business. And we want to get to the beginning of your start, right? So before you got to where you're at today and all the success that you've had and the technology that you have and all the amazing cameras you put out there. So give us your backstory leading up to Heartfelt Productions that you have today.
Perfect. So, I started this industry. So I played college baseball. Never picked up a camera and got a college degree. After that, I was like, you know what? The 9-to-5 is just not my jam. I want to start a company. I want to grow my brand, and get into like the entrepreneur space. So what I said was like, I don't know anything about technology. I don't know anything about cameras, but I want to learn. So it's so industry, like over the last 4 years, I've been on this journey learning each and every day. How can I build my brand? How can I build other people's brands through weddings, through real estate? Because that's where everything is going now. And it's just incredible to see over the last 4 years, from knowing nothing, starting a production company, growing other people's brands, that this is the real deal. And it's just like, putting the systems each and every day, learning each and every day, and then surrounding yourself with other individuals that make a difference, like you guys on this podcast, what you're doing with your company, how you're making a difference in, not only your community that I've been seeing, I researched when we met at the conference, but it's just a lot of people don't see how much goes behind the scenes. They just see like the highlights, but they don't see, okay, here's the branding content that we have to list off. So like what we like to do with our real estate individuals is like, okay, here is your content plan. Let's not just go into and say, hey, this is my basically new listing. Like those are great, but people nowadays, like especially, it's about the micro content, knowing who you are, what you do, and providing value to other agents, to other people. So that's a little backstory right there.
I love that. I love that. That's super cool. So quick question, because Real Estate vs. Technology, from good old traditional ways of marketing themselves to new ways of marketing themselves, utilizing video, which we'll talk about today. How did you stumble upon the real estate industry and this community and say, hey, I want to serve this industry? How did that come up for you?
All right. So long story is my dad was actually a successful real estate agent for 37 years. So
that makes sense.
Right. So, and he's like been an entrepreneur. Like I always was, when I was growing up, he played baseball, he played minor league baseball. And then he got into this entrepreneur real estate industry, basically retired and was like, you know what? I have a lot of successful real estate agents in Las Vegas that I want to introduce you to. And, you know, but his way was the old school way, where they were knocking on doors, making phone calls, you know, doing all that stuff. And me and him discussed, like, he's a baby boomer, I'm a millennial. And we kind of had this discussion, like, how can we add both elements where it's video production with the old school and then like create it into something more? And that's where we collabed. We were like, you know, I bring this whole new modern side on the video production side. And then that's kind of how it just like took off. And people were like, what kind of content are you putting out there? Like, we haven't really seen this before. And how do you have that experience? Because my dad knows all the real estate lingo, and he was behind the scenes talking through that. Here's how you sell your home. Here's the value you bring to your agents. And then we just captured that on video, and it's a whole new game.
1 hour seminars
for
free.
And then we did 1 hour seminars, basically starting the company for free. And I learned a lot, because that's when we first started getting going. And I learned a lot from just that. And basically, honestly, you know, how to communicate with people, how to give speeches. And I'm thinking about revamping that up again, since we got our new systems in place to really
love it.
Yeah.
Is that Pops in the background? I thought I heard a little.
Oh yeah, he's back here. There he is. You know.
What's up, Pops?
Oh yeah.
I was like a cliff note. That was like a virtual cliff note. Like,
oh yeah,
what's next?
You know, he's back here. He's proud, and it's awesome. So,
you know, and it's cool too. I gotta say, like, you know, to have a proud papa moment, you know what I'm saying? It's like you want to see, you know, your daughters, your sister, brothers, should I say your siblings, or not your siblings? You want to see your spouse. What am I thinking right now? I'm like, hold on, what? You want to see your son have success, right? And watch him be able to really flourish. And it's great to see how basically, welcome, Pops. What's your name?
Hey, John.
John, welcome to Real Estate First Technology. This is great. We have special guests. You never know what's going to happen on the show.
Hey, well, he invited me on, and I'm pretty proud.
But here's the thing. Answer that question, like what you know, for
Absolutely. My dad was my biggest fan. You know, he was a real estate broker. I wanted nothing to do with it. He passed away, and I was working for a grocery store, and they told me I needed to get back. And I just said, you know what? I'm going to real estate. Came back from the funeral, literally signed up, and with 30 days, I had my license, and I gave notice. And they told me, my boss told me, you will be crawling back on your belly, begging for your job back. I never did. And you know what? When Brandon and I decided to start this company, I wanted him to succeed, give him any knowledge I had to help him succeed. And he's blown my mind. Absolutely.
Wow. Love this.
So he is, it's about grinding every day. We all know that. It's not easy. You got to have that drive, and we have it, and you have it.
Wow. That's
keep growing.
Right.
That's amazing, and congratulations for everything that you've done to have success in this industry, especially after you're like, nope, sorry, don't want to do that, Dad. And then now you're here, and then you brought your son in, and it's cool because Real Estate First Technology is from the traditional ways of marketing to now the new ways of marketing. To see you both come together and marry the two,
evolution.
Yeah,
there it is. So
literally, I transferred from California to here. Met a guy. And we'd meet at 6:30 in the morning, role play, learn our scripts. We'd start calling for 4 hours. Then we'd knock doors for 4 hours every day, 5 days a week. And people actually got upset with us. How can you do that? You know, hey, that's my goal. You know, and you started seeing success, fine tuning it, just like we're doing in our company. So, you know, that's my story. And exciting to watch you guys. So,
well,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's great to have a special guest come in. Yeah, like you never know. We'll have to. That'd be a good hook. Like stay tuned until the almost the middle of the episode. You never know who's gonna come in. That's so cool.
Right? Exactly. A cameo appearance. You know.
Yeah, man, it's cool. Just keep it moving. That was a great story, and that's awesome for our viewers and listeners out there as well, because that's a big thing, right? Creating legacy, creating generational wealth, creating legacy, and being able to work for yourself and have fun doing it, and be able to inspire and enlighten other people, which is awesome. And so, I want to hand this over to Dan for our mix-up round, so he can go a little bit deeper into the techniques, video production. And so, go ahead, Dan, take it away for our mix-up round.
Yeah. Thanks, Norm. So I'm going to play the dumb agent and say, hey, man, how much do you cost? Like, what are the services? Is it like a la carte? How do you break down what a real estate agent, when they come to you, what does it cost? What do you suggest? What's on the menu?
Exactly. So that's a thing, like I think most videographers, most production companies have, like in the beginning, where it's just like, oh, because everybody wants it for their own price. So I decided to, we have our real estate company, our videography page, everything that we list on there. So all I do is right now I send them a link. So basically it has HDR photography, drone photos, real estate video packages, and everything is listed and everything is shown in an example. So here's our HDR photos. Here's the photos. Here's drone video. Here's a drone video. Here's branding content. And it makes it a lot easier as an agent to go, okay, this is what you do. This is what you provide. You see it. And then here's the price there. And then when we also do like custom branding, like packages too, like, since micro content came out, this is all new to us. This is how do we, do monthly subscriptions. So that's what we're working on right now is like, hey, you can have 5 to 10 videos of value. Let's batch it up in one time. And then create that branding structure going forward, because it's always evolving. Like one of my real estate agents, I don't know if you know this, like literally said in the next couple of weeks, the MLS is going to be going into 99 photos that you can put in instead of 50, which I just heard about.
Ours is 35.
What?
Ours is 35 in my market.
Oh, really? Yeah. So in Vegas, it's 50.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just, you highlight the packages around like the MLS, and if you want more. So it's each market like is different. Like it's crazy, compared to your guys to our market, like, but it's still business. So
yeah. Wow. And then, in terms of, I think the best question to ask is like, are you giving, once you package all this up, are you giving them like a Dropbox link, a Google Drive? Are you putting it on YouTube? Like, where is what is the deliverable outside of just here's your photos?
Exactly. So it's like each real estate agent is different. Each agent has its own brand. Like we work with a very successful real estate agent here in Vegas, and their niche is all about Instagram. So they're getting the most views on Instagram. So it's micro content. So, that's a perfect example. Like, what is your niche? What do you do? As what's your brand and what is your platform? And then the second, like we just did yesterday, was their brand is longer videos, house tours, and it's like a 5-minute video of just the house with their introduction, and they like to post it on YouTube. So it's kind of like a hard, each person, each individual, like, this like has their own platform. Some's Instagram, some's TikTok, some's YouTube. But what I try to tell the agents is like, try to be on all platforms with that micro content that you can lead towards YouTube because YouTube is a search engine that people can type in questions. You get more reach on there. So that's what I like to, provide as well. And then some go on personal websites that they use. It just depending on each agent.
Yeah, no, that's I think that adaptability, right? And being able to provide them advice up front. A lot of people are like, they're really particular on what they want. And I think every agent's different and what they're going to put their money into, what they're going to be good at, right? Can change year after year. But, in terms of technology, what are you using in your real estate sector of your business to really enhance and be above the competition in your market?
Perfect. So honestly, like, since starting this company 4 years ago, like I got to be around just like Sean Cannell, Grow with Video. I got to be around the best wedding videographers in the industry in Vegas. I got to be around some of the top speakers So I've kind of like molded into this one person, like taking different tips from everybody. And what we've done is like, since we have like the wedding industry, we've been able to upgrade our equipment to like some of the best, like the Sony FX3 with high quality audio for the agents. Our drone is that DJI Mavic 3 Cine, which has zoom capability, you know, and we got that because we were doing a commercial gig for 35 condominium assistant living here in Las Vegas. So it's just like, you know, you always want to keep providing and leveling up your equipment. And, you know, not everybody in the beginning is going to have the best equipment, but then it's how do you provide the best value? And I think that's, in the end of the day, you know, equipment's nice when you level up, you know, it makes content a lot easier, but, you know, just stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's the evolution of technology, and you're in one of those niche industries where, like, if you don't keep up, you will definitely see it. And I think that's cool. So as this evolves and as real estate agents get more particular, you know, this is just a funny question I like to ask. Like, I think one of the hardest things from a videographer or a photographer is the revision process and dealing with clients. I don't like this video, or like, how do you get through that process?
Oh, that's the thing. Like each agent's like agents, I have to say, like, where it's just, you know what, we're just not a great fit, because it's just like the revisions were 8 to 10 times. And it's just like, we would show our editor, we would show somebody else, and they're like, that looks perfect. And, you know, I think it comes down to a lot of people, like, how comfortable are you on video? And I think a lot of people are very nitpicky sometimes, when it's just like, you just have to get it out there and continue to move on and continue to grow and continue, because we had one client that was working on one video for a month and a half. And we're like, you know what? You know, I just finished another client and he already put out 15 videos.
Wow.
And you know, it just comes down to, and we always try to coach, always try to teach them, like, you're your worst enemy. Like, if you look at it and go, what's wrong with this video, and ask other people, that negativity, you can't have that negative mindset in like the entrepreneur space. And I think you guys all know that.
Yes.
It's, if you have that, and it comes down like your community, like, we're like, they would call them where they're just like, you know what, it's just not the right vibe. You know, and sometimes my dad taught me, it's like, sometimes you have to fire somebody just to be in your right tribe, in your right community, to grow, to, you know, level up. And I think that's just one of the things. It's just, you know, that's what I have to say on that.
Because the biggest gold nugget that I want to leave from everybody is, you know, I've worked with a lot of particular clients before, right? And like you said, like, practice makes perfect. Like, volume is the game, exposure, views, not just working on one video. But I think the biggest thing I wanted to leave from this podcast, from my perspective, is that everything can't be perfect. And I think being able to, you know, provide a couple, you know, revisions or your feedback, or next time I'd like it like this. This is what I just prefer. I think if agents could stop being control freaks and start being reliant on the experts they're hiring, I think that's where the magic happens. And I think that element of letting go is what I wanted to say. The biggest gold nugget from my perspective is in video and hiring a photographer, videographer, anybody, letting go, let the professional run with it. Yes, if there's some things that you want to change, provide them feedback, but next time hire them, build that relationship, and you will see the flourishing happen. That's it.
Exactly. And that's so true. And another thing that we do here is, like, before we, you know, meet with an agent, meet with a client, it's like, okay, let's get the game plan. Let's get the script done. So when we go into the video, I think very important is, like, what we've learned here on the editing process, the feedback is, let's have that video already done. So there is no surprise. Here's the structure. This is what you're going to say. Here's your script. We'll do a voiceover. We'll add the B-roll to it. We'll add the titles. So there's no basically surprise on the back end. And then you could just, here's the video. Is there any other little changes that you want? And over the last about 6 months, we've been doing that way. And last week, we just produced 6 videos, no re-edits. We have an editing team, and it's just that system, that flow, which is changing the game. So that's what I would recommend, like videographers, photographers, or real estate agents. Have that system in place. It makes it a lot easier, and educate, people.
Yeah. And before I hand it back to Norm, I think one of the funniest thing is, when you're not perfect at video, or if it's your first few, right? People always look like a stiff board. They're like, you can just like sense that they're nervous, or, this isn't their cup of tea. And I think everybody, I had somebody early on in my career tell me like, hey, just act like you're talking to your mom. Like, who cares if you mess up? Like, just make it as easy as possible. So, yeah, it's just a fun evolution of all of this. And it sounds like you guys have a good system, and you know when to fire clients that aren't going to be a good fit. And I think, there's more respect from us when people do that. So back to Norm.
Awesome, Dan. Yeah, I actually love that a lot. To unpack that a little bit, I think it's great because we were talking about traditional to new ways, talking about, the whole purpose of this show is to put emphasis on being able to get a little bit more of an understanding of behind the scenes of the company. And it's so cool that, Brendan, you were talking about how you had some of these gigs come up and how you reinvested into the business, thinking and being mindful of your clients going to be in the future. So for the drone, for the nicer, photography, or say videography for your clients, which is awesome. So anyone who's listening and viewing right now, that Heartfelt Productions has a great standard operating procedure, editing team behind them, and a great structure. So I just wanted to do
a great dad.
And a great dad. Shout out, Mark.
Oh yeah.
So
go ahead.
I love it. I wanted to say, kudos to y'all. And that's why we love this show, because we get to be more real and just go behind the scenes and deep dive a little bit more. And of course, help the viewers and listeners that are watching right now with different techniques and processes, which is great. Like Dan said, if you hire the experts, let the experts do the job that they're hired to do. And so it's like, you're not going to hire a realtor, to be like, hey, like, this is how you need to do it. And then I want to get
price.
This is the price. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah. Like, thanks. Like, I guess I'm just going to go ahead and get delegated to. And even from the beginning of the podcast, this is our actually first podcast episode where, we're working on a different production here and doing some things different behind the scenes of the studio, but you keep moving forward, right? Instead of it being like you said, don't be negative. Just keep moving forward. You can't have negativity within that process, because then you won't get to the videos and what have you. So I absolutely love that. Got a couple last questions before we always like to open up the floor to you, so you can be able to leave something of value for our viewers and listeners. And I think a couple last questions are going to be more geared towards like action steps. So someone's like watching, listening right now, and they want to get into video, and they don't know the best ways to get started. And so, what would be your 1, 2, 3, getting started into video, film, and just start recording today?
Perfect. Like, if you don't have a camera, like, everybody starts somewhere. I would honestly just say, okay, pick up a camera and start learning on your own. Like, maybe if you have your family, like little family gatherings, or just like you're going into a real estate house, start practicing on each listing, each home, and start getting into that rhythm, because you kind of want to make that a habit going forward for video. And then the next step is I would start learning a little bit. It just depends. Like, if you are a real estate agent, I would just say in the end, hire pros, let them, because you want to be focused on your clients, getting more listings, getting more, traction out there that I've seen. But the next step would be, if you're a videographer or a content creator, is start shadowing people where you want to be and what you want to do. So when we were I saw Sean Cannon like 4 years ago, and I'm like, well, with video, and I'm like, these guys are doing it the right way. They give you tips and tricks about what they do, how to use the camera, how to use the setup, and you seen at the conference, like, they're phenomenal. Yeah. They have made this community within video of what they're doing. So I would say go to their YouTube channel, because they break down every single thing from how to get better Zoom, how to get better lighting, how to, make better videos on the technical side. Yeah. And then build relationships. And build relationships. Like, honestly, in the end of the day, it's about, creating that quality content. But if you don't have those relationships, if you're not making those connections and having that community, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, I had a question asked the other day. How are you so busy? Is it the camera you have? Is it the drones? Is it like, how are you marketing? And I was like, in the end of the day, guys, it's just quality relationships. That's in treating everybody with respect, treating everybody with like, if you're working with me, you're the one client I am going to be on the call for 30 minutes or 10 minutes with. I'm going to give you my full attention. So, you know,
and you love it.
Yeah. And you just, you know, so let's break it down, you know, start by, you know, filming everything, anything. And then, you know, YouTube, start learning YouTube, go on there, you know, and the next thing is shadow one of the professionals, videographers, and learn from them for a couple, you know, months, a couple years. And then after you have that, you could go, you know what, I have the knowledge. Now let's take that leap of faith and start your company, start your brand to move forward. So
Wow. Comfort zone.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
I love it. I love it. That's super cool. And it's so true. It's like I was meeting with the client last week and I was just like, film everything you possibly can, do it in the 9:16 ratio. You know, an iPhone is what I like to use. It works great. This is like a 12 Pro Max. And so always film. And I was telling her, for the viewers and listeners out there, one thing that I love and I pay for it is InShot. InShot has great transitions. It already has like the glitch mode and different things to make the video look, you know, fun, more exciting, or zoom in to the next clip if you wanted to do like a transition frame and what have you. And so I definitely have to agree. And also, like, you know, a mentor or a coach like your father there behind the scenes, he's just like, hey, we forgot about this thought. And he's adding the commentary and coaching you actually live when we're on the show right now for the viewers and listeners out there, which is great.
Right. And I think in the end of the day, it's just having that mentor. Like, I'm very blessed to have him, you know, what he learned, you know, for 37 years being an entrepreneur, writing his own book, like literally 70 years old coming up in January. And he's just like full of knowledge. And it's just blessings that we get to work together. It's not all fun and games. We butt heads sometimes, but it's a blast, you know. It just keeps going. But, you know, proud moments.
Anyone that's streaming and not watching this, I would highly recommend that you go to YouTube and type in Real Estate vs. Tech and see the video, because when you just said 70, he does not. I was like maybe 55. Holy cow.
70.
Dude. Uh-oh.
That's crazy.
Hey, it's the love of life, you know.
It is.
Just staying positive and just loving what you do.
Amen. Amen to that, man. That's awesome, Mark. So that's my last question. What's the best part about being an agent, or, you know, doing the production, and what do you love the best about what you do over there at Heartfelt Productions?
Honestly, it's about the relationships you build. You know, like, you know, having a camera, building other people's brands, seeing them succeed in the industry. I mean, it's not about me. It's about the relationship and how you're impacting other people to get to the next level. And that's what ultimately comes to me at the end of the day. It's like,
I love it.
See people succeeding. Like, I get to look at my Instagrams and go, man, they're closing more deals. They're making better videos. Like, they're getting out there. They're on a podcast now. Like, video takes you so, you don't know where this journey's going to lead. Like, I just started doing, you know, from Grow with Video Live, the micro content. And during the last, you know, weeks, like, there's a huge event coming in Vegas, and they were like, oh, you filmed at Grow with Video Live. I had this friend there, and they want you to be the videographer because they saw the micro content. So
wow,
you never know where it's going to take you. And, like, you know, all these guys, Gary Vee, you just got to keep doing it. You got to keep putting it out there, because you never know. You never know. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And yeah, that was the name from the beginning of the show, Grow with Video Live. And I was like stumbling there. I was like, what's the name? Yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I mean, Think Media, check them out. YouTube.com, absolutely phenomenal. You know, what Sean and everything in the team is doing over there is awesome. That's how I found my vlogging camera. And when we first met to say, hey, Brandon, let's get you on the podcast episode, because it's amazing. Like, we're filming video right now, and we're going to leverage this video for micro content and for future successes, and be able to build on our relationship as well, which is huge. So we're now at the part of the show where I'm going to go ahead and put the camera on you, man. And what would you like to leave for our viewers and listeners, and the episode that you want them to take to apply to their businesses to have more massive success?
Perfect. So basically, guys, just if you're just starting from nothing, just take action every day. learn every day, start reading, start surrounding yourself with positive people, because who you surround yourself with, is going to change your life. Like basically, be in these groups. Like I've seen so many people that have changed their circles, that became more successful because the people they are with. And when you start changing that, start creating these daily habits to become more successful. And you, like when I go on Instagram, social media, it's all about business. It's all about getting better. It's all about motivation. I mean, everything you look at is you're growing from it. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, is start cutting out, the negative aspects, stuff that don't bring value in your life, and then start consuming, the positive and the things that start bringing value.
And patience.
My dad always says patience, but I have patience too, but it's just like, it comes down to, like, you can have patience, but you want to be an action taker. You want to go out there. Like, you can always have patience and say, hey, I'll do that 6 months from now.
No,
but it takes time. So growing a business, that's what he meant. Growing a business, be patient, because it's not going to be successful right when you start. It's going to take 1, 2, 3 years to build those relationships, to get more referrals, because, as a real estate agent, when you just start, you're not just getting leads, you're not just getting, you have to be patient throughout the process. And I think that's how video is too. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's really good advice for people to think about as well. And definitely, what is it? The tortoise and the hare. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's not a race, or it's a marathon. So just take your time through that process and you'll get there. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being on the show today. Also, your father. Thanks, Mark, for jumping in there for a second and saying howdy. We really do appreciate both of you guys' time, and also what you all are doing. So be sure down below, there's links for the company, Instagram. So if you're looking for a good video company and you're in the Vegas area, where exactly do you cover in Vegas?
So everywhere, literally the whole, like, we've done out-of-state stuff too. Utah listings, Vegas, but the whole valley and, surrounding valley. So wherever we'll go.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you all for being on. Dan, thanks for co-hosting as always.
Thank you. Great to meet you, man.
All right. Pleasure as well.
And thanks to all reviewers and listeners, as it is our intention for you to take things from our episode, apply to your business, and have more massive success. Now down below, comment with what you learned, like this episode, subscribe. We have more to come for an in-person podcast opportunity and experience. So stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for what's next for real estate, come up here on October 5th and 6th. And we will see you on the next one. Your real one. If you haven't already done so, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified for new episodes that come out every single week on Fridays at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Also, if you comment on this episode and you like the episode, you'll help this episode get out to more individuals. And if you want to join our Facebook group page, just click a link. It's a Facebook icon on our profile page here on our YouTube channel. Join our group page, network with individuals all across the world, and share what technology you're using to grow your business. The next link is to join our Real Estate vs. Technology brand new IG or Instagram page. If you go on any of our stories, you can see who's going to be on Real Estate vs. Technology before it actually goes live on our YouTube channel. And the last link would be if you want to be on an episode of Real Estate vs. Technology. You pick a date and a time. We'll deep dive into your story and technology you're using to share that with other individuals that view our episodes weekly to inspire, enlighten, show up, and show out for people that love to watch these type of podcasts to have more success in their own business. Thank you so much for your continued support. We appreciate it. We will see you on the next one.